Next on the agenda is the 1995 football team. When we had nominations for teams and individuals, we get a lot of them each year. We sort through them all, and usually they're quite long and extensive about what the requirements are, what they did to qualify for this. And in this particular case, I'm going to read the sponsor's reason for this team to be in. And as I said, we don't give out names to who write these, Mark Higgins, but I do want to read to you. It says, below are the highlights of the 1995 football team's accomplishments, Mark Higgins. They won the state championship for the first time in their history, number one. Number two, see item 1. So that's the whole description we're going to have of this. But we do have a representative of that team here today who was unanimously recommended to be the speaker for this, and then we're going to have Brian Moran come up and introduce the rest of the players and make some remarks. But we're privileged and proud today to have one of LeRoy's finest, Brian Fulmer. Come on up here, Brian.
Good morning. My name is Brian Fulmer. I'm class of '96. First off, I want to thank Mr. Whiting and the committee for recognizing our team. It's certainly a nice honor, and I also want to congratulate the class of 2016 nominees here. It's a really nice honor. And doing this type of thing is, I think, a very special thing that separates this community, and having this Hall of Fame is a differentiator and makes this a special place. So it's also my honor to represent that '95 football team. That was an incredibly special group. It's been 20 years, it's hard to believe, but the memories are still vivid, and I think about the times we had very often. And so what I wanted to do today is just make a couple of remarks on things that I kind of always think about and go back to when I think about that team. And the first is just team. That was the best team I've ever been a part of. Kind of 1 through 28 came in and checked agendas and egos at the door and focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was winning football games. And that was, again, that was the best team I've ever been a part of. And that kind of manifested itself in a couple ways. We would have practices on Wednesday nights under the lights, and we would go scrimmage. What team would give the first team kind of preparation for the coming game. And a lot of times those games were more competitive. Those scrimmages were more competitive than games we played in, and that spoke to just everyone in there doing their jobs, doing their role, and making everyone better. And the other example I always like to think of is during that run we had just a great run, obviously, there in the playoffs. And you expected excellence from the Shaughnessy's and Zach Dillow and the like. I'm going to not mention a few names, but what else was really cool I thought about that was somebody different every team kind of stepped up and had their best game of the season during that run. I think about the sectional final, East Rochester. Adam played lights out, was all over the field defensively. Picked off a big pass. The state semifinal game against Dolersville in the snow, Derek Spink punching in a couple touchdowns, Steve Saba all over the field, making tackles all over the place. And then the state final game, Ryan Novak he was the first beast mode, I think. And he was exceptional and carried us to that state championship game. So that was just cool to see kind of everyone, something different, just stepping up and having their best game of the season that propelled us to that state championship. The second thing I think about is respect. And that goes right to the top, and that's an attribute that runs very deep in the program. And that's a great tribute to Coach Moran. You came onto the field 2 by 2. You played hard. You helped your opponent up. You shook their hand after the game. You left the field 2 by 2. And that was just a respect thing that we carried with us through every portion of every game, every practice. And the best example of that played out, and this is probably the coolest moment I've ever had on an athletic field. So we came out of the Carrier Dome to come onto the field for the state championship game. Cal Mummett just won the Class D title, and they were our arch rivals. We hate these guys, right? They're the bad guys. And there they were, lined up, waiting for us as we came out of the tunnel, cheering, yelling, screaming for us. And that was really, I get goosebumps every time I tell a story. I have goosebumps now telling it. And that doesn't happen if there's not a high level of respect permeating the program. So again, that's a really tribute to Coach Moran and everything that he did and kind of talk. So we were just respectful in everything that he did. And the third thing I always think about is this community. It was an honor to wear that black helmet to go out and represent this you guys wrapped your collective arms around us as we made that run, and I can't tell you how fun it was to go out onto that Carrierdale field and see the entire town in the stands there cheering us on. And then coming back into town, fire trucks leading us back to reception in the town hall. This place is a very special sense of place here in LeRoy, and a great pride in the community. And that's something I think, again, differentiates this community from others. And I live in a great place outside Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I can hear the local football field is about a mile from my house. I can hear the PA address from my front porch. And I oftentimes, like a moth to flame, sort of migrate over there on a Friday night to catch a game. And you'd think a school with 600 kids in a class would be able to, outnumber the attendance at a LeRoy football game, and it doesn't. And I guarantee there's not fire trucks leading state championship teams back into town. So again, I always think about that community, you guys wrapping your arms around us and cheering us on, and that strong sense of place and pride that we always had when we put those black helmets on. And in closing here, I just want to just thank the coaches. I want to start with Coach Pork and Coach Sullivan. Most of us were on the '93 JV team that went 9-0, and like generations of LeRoy football players, Coach Rogers and Coach Sullivan prepared us very well to go compete at the varsity level. And then obviously Coach Palladino, Coach Bonaquisti, Coach Capitelli, and Coach Moran. You guys had us so well prepared for every single game that we played. I had the opportunity to go compete collegiately in athletics, and I only wish that my college coaches were as close to what we had on that football team. You guys were absolutely top notch. Thank you to the guys on the team. That was a special group. I oftentimes go back and think about all the memories we had going through that year. I still smile every time I come into town and I see that placard that says LeRoy Knights State Champions 1995. So I thank you very much, and again, appreciate the honor, and lots of great memories. Go LeRoy.
Coach, coming up. Coach Moran, got to wake up back there now. Come on. Sound asleep back there. He had his hip replaced, so he's moving a little slow, but he's on his way.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you to the committee for honoring us. I would, if you would, I don't know how many we have, if the players and coaches just would come down and stand in front so everybody can see who you are. So if you would come on down. 95 players, coaches. Right here would be good. As I look back at this team, I think Brian said it best, it was a team. One of the things that we talk about in athletics is community. We want to represent our community, but we want to be a good representation of our community. We want to be the beliefs and the values of the community and express them not only through our playing years, but through our life. One of the greatest pleasures as a coach, not only of the 95 team, but of the others, is to come back and see these men and how proud I am of them and the accomplishments that they have. I'm fortunate enough now to be around a long time that I see Billy Mack down here, and I have his daughter in school, and those are the things that put a smile on my face every day. What a fine young lady he is, and what a great example of the things he's accomplished in his life. Winning is always fun, but we don't talk about winning in athletics. We prepare to win. What do you do to be successful? And it comes down to, everybody says, well, this and that. It comes down to one thing: hard work. If you're willing to work hard, you're willing to sacrifice yourself for the other players on your team, you will be successful. It might not show in wins and losses, it might not show in state championships or sectional titles, but it'll show 20 years later. So when I think about these kids, I think about moments. I think about individual situations in the locker room. I think about maybe playing a scrimmage. I think sometimes the plays that happened in the games. It's just amazing to me to see these people. I know that we're a little short today, and it's difficult for people who are of their age to get here because of their work assignments. But I'm glad these gentlemen are here. You know, Coach Palladino's down here. Just wave, Coach. He's probably not hearing a word I say. For 26 years. Excuse me. Getting old. For 26 years, he stood next to me. Thank you. God bless him. He put up with me for 26 years. I won't tell you the times he's crashed my car or backed into the garage. Coach Cap is down here. Cap coached with us for many years. Then he went to Caledonia. But you know, when we take a look at that team and how well we performed, a lot has to do with those two gentlemen. Andrew on the defense and Coach Cap on the offense. We truly appreciate that. Coach Bonaquista's been with us for a long time. He did a great job helping us not only through those years, but even up till today with our special teams. Since we have such a few amount of players here today, I'm going to go down through it. Billy Mack is standing here. Billy was an offensive tackle for us. He teaches at York now. I told you that he has a daughter that's in school now. And way before the concussion mandate stuff, I remember playing at Hornell. We came out of the line, and everybody went down, and there was Billy Mack standing up. Got a little thing. We had to take him out for a few plays. But boy, he could play. He was a great player. Pete Loft is standing next to him. You know, I say this all the time. It's easy for kids to come in and participate on teams when you can go out and play on a Friday night. It's not so easy when you have to sacrifice all the time and not get a chance to play a lot. One of my proudest moments was to watch Pete in a carry go. Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Coach.
Dave Shaughnessy, and I'm going to say this in front of everyone in here, and some great players. People, best player in LeRoy football history. It's just amazing. Joe Loftus. You know, Joe is an individual who I'm proud of. I see him now quite a bit during the mornings when I get in the drive red car. He works for our police department in Genesee County, and that's a perfect example of why we have high school athletics right there. Thank you, Joe. Can't believe he's in a cast. You know, and I pick on him all the time. Tough to get old, Joe. You know, when we went into that season, I'll tell this story. Adam was our starting quarterback, but we replaced him, I think, 2 or 3 weeks into the season. You know what? Became one of the best defensive backs, and probably became such a great leader through the way he performed throughout the rest of the season. Those are some of the things that made us successful, and those are some of the things that made us a state championship. Thank you. Mr. Fulmer. I just look at him sometimes and I want to say, how's those golf carts? But I don't. You know, I remember playing the carrier goal. It was on the end of the goal line and I threw a pass up and he came from nowhere and knocked it down. But I also remember in the warm-ups watching him kick off and kicking it through the uprights and into the net. Just a great athlete. This team was amazing simply because we go back to what I said at the beginning. It came back to community, It came back to us representing our community and the values and the beliefs that this community has had and will continue to have for the next many, many years. It was my privilege to be their coach. Thank you all very much.